Hello students, now we are going to see how we are going to take input from the user. Okay, we have three methods in that. Now I am going to tell you about the function argument, input using the function argument. Okay, three methods are there and this is your first method of taking input. So whenever you write a program, you need some input. For example, you are going to add two numbers also. If you get the numbers only, you can add it. So you need some input from the user. So now we will see how we are going to get the input from the user. Okay, and first we will see what is a function. Function means some name for the function enclosed within the curly braces, and some instructions will be inside your function, that is within your curly braces. You will be having some instructions to do a work, that is called your function. This is going to do some function you have described here. Okay, for example, you are going to add two numbers means you will be giving some arguments. Next we will see that we will take that argument here and you would have given the instruction here to add those numbers. Okay, that is called a function, a set of instructions with a name. When it is called, it does that particular work what you have given in this set of instruction. Okay, that is called a function. And we will see what is an argument. See here, public static void main, this is your function name. Void main is your function name, and these are access specifier, like that it has been here. Okay, this is your return type, void is your return type, like that, and this is called your argument. Okay, whatever you pass in the function name, okay, inside the function name, whatever you pass, it is called your argument. And your argument will have a data type and a variable. Okay, in this variable only the value will be passed, and what type of data this variable is going to have is indicated by this data type. Okay, so according to this data type only we can use here. So whatever data type is given here only, the same type of input you have to pass. You have declared here int, and if you pass some strings means it will not accept. Okay, so whatever data type is declared here in this argument, the same type of data should be passed. Okay, and through this we can access the input. See, when the user enters a value for A and B, automatically the value will be come and saved here. So you even doesn't need to declare this variable also. You can just directly use it. See here, this is example int C. This C alone you are using it here. So I have declared this, but I have not declared the A and B. Since this is been passed as an argument, you doesn't need to even declare it. You can just directly use it. This variable A and B will be having the input values in it. Okay, so C is equal to A plus B, and system.out.println sum is plus C. So this and all you know how to print the value of C, right? So if you print like this, it will automatically add the values of A and B, and it will print the output of A plus B. Okay, here if suppose A value is 2 and B value is 3 means the some value will be, that is the value stored in the C will be 5. Okay, when this statement is executed, you will be having the value C printed. Okay, so this is your function. Function means what? A set of instructions that is going to be done. See here, set of instructions. If you call this main function, whenever this main function is executed, this set of instructions is going to be performed. This particular thing, that is, it is going to add this and display the sum. That is the work of this function. This particular operation is going to be performed. That is called your function. And whatever you pass through, the whatever argument you give, that is whatever variable you are going to pass, the value you are going to pass, it is called your argument. Okay, and it will be next to your function name inside this brackets. That is called your arguments, and argument will be having a data type and a variable. Now in this function argument, what we are going to do is, input is obtained at the time of execution. Okay, while getting the input through this function argument method, the input is obtained at the time of execution. When you are executing the program, you will be getting the argument. I will tell you about this. Okay, function argument method, the inputs are always obtained through main function as arguments. Okay, see, function means here we have seen the main function, but we can have, instead of main also, we can give a function name add. Instead of main, add also can be a function. Okay, whatever name you want, you can declare that function name. Okay, but here, while getting the input from the user, this arguments should be passed in the main function only. You cannot pass it using the other functions. Okay, that argument is different, but getting the input from the user, you have to pass it only through the main function. Okay, then then we will see the program in your textbook. Okay, they have given the sample program, right? So in this first program is, write a program in Java to find the sum of average of 3 numbers by using the assignment function argument. Okay, this is not okay. And see here, we are going to write a program to find the sum of 3 numbers and average of 3 numbers. Okay, so for that, what we need, first we need to get the 3 numbers as the input. With these 3 numbers only, we can either sum or calculate the average. So first thing is, we are going to take input as 3 numbers. So this is your public class average, then public static void main. So in main function only, using function argument they have given. So in this main function only, we have to pass it as an argument. We cannot pass it as argument in any other function. Through the main function only, these arguments has to be passed. Okay, so you need 3 numbers, right? So int A, B and C. A, B and C. So you get 3 input numbers. Okay, and here int, inside the main function, what you are going to do, you are going to calculate the sum and the average. So int sum is equal to 0 and float average is equal to 0. Int sum, you are going to enter only the integer numbers, means sum will be in the integer only. Okay, but average is going to be in the float, because we doesn't know whether the number will be coming exactly. Okay, so adding 3 numbers and dividing it by 3 means, if it is divisible only, you will be having the integer number. Otherwise, you will be having it as a decimal number, right? So fraction number. So you will be having, that's why you have declared average as a float. Then sum is equal to A plus B plus C. The 3 numbers what we have get the input is A plus B plus C. See, here also they have not declared any variable int A comma B like that. If you give it here itself, the input will be automatically transferred to these variables, and you can use these variables directly inside your main function. Okay, only in your main function. Suppose you are having some other function out of your main function, means it is not possible for you to use. Only in your main function you can use it directly. Okay, so sum is equal to A plus B plus C. This sum will be calculated and stored in the variable sum, and average is equal to sum divided by 3, because A plus B plus C only again you are going to put. Instead of that, already you have calculated the sum, so you have given the sum divided by 3, so you will get the average here. Okay, then you are going to print it, system.out.println, the sum variable and average variable. So now we will see how to execute this program. Now we have opened the open your Java window, and you have typed all the program, and you are going to execute it. That is, you are going to save the class with the same class name, and you are going to execute it. By that time you are going to take this method call. Okay, in this method call only you are going to give the input. Okay, whenever you are using the function argument as your input method, the input should be given in this method call itself. Okay, see, can you see here? Everyone have your textbook with you and see it. Otherwise, once the class is over, you can go through your book. See here, BlueJ method call. In this only, see void main int a, int b and int c. So you are going to enter 3 values. According to this itself, it is possible for you. See, according to that, the text boxes also is there. So you are going to enter the 3 values here only. Okay, then only your arguments will be directly passed to the main function arguments. Okay, if you don't give here, your nothing will be passed here. You won't get the input there, so you will be given a error. Okay, so here only you have to give your inputs, and if after giving the inputs, if you give okay, see, your output will be shown like this. Once you give okay, your output screen will be appearing like this. What happens is a value will be 65. See here, the first value they have given is 65, 60 and 74. So a will be 65, b will be 60 and c will be 74, and sum will be calculated according to this, that is 199. That is 65 plus 60 plus 4. See, 5 plus 4 is 9. 6 plus 6 is 12, 12 plus 7 is 19, so 199. And the same thing, the sum is going to come here and divided by 3 is equal to, this is the average value that has been printed in your output. Okay, so now we will see the second program. Second program is to write a program in Java to find the simple interest and amount by using the function argument when principal, interest and time are given. Okay, so the second program is to calculate the simple interest and amount. We are going to calculate the simple interest and the amount. So to calculate this, we are going to again get three values as inputs. The 3 values are principal, interest and time. You all know the formula of simple interest and amount. So you know what you need to, what are the values you need to calculate the simple interest and amount. The values is principal, interest and time. So these are the inputs we are going to get from the user. Okay. Okay, so public class interest is your class name, and then is your main function public static void main, and this is int p, int r, int t. This is for your principal, rate of interest and time. Okay, so 3 inputs we need to get it as input. So we have given here in the main function, because we are writing this function using the function argument, so that we have given we are going to take the input through the arguments given in the main function. And double SI is simple interest and amount is also then we are going to calculate the amount, right? So amount, then SI is equal to the formula P into R into T divided by 100. We have substituted the formula, and amount is equal to P plus SI. So why we have given this in double is, this SI is we doesn't know that this SI is going to be an integer or what. So obviously divided by 100 means you may get some fraction values also, so that the amount and SI we have given it in the double. And SI, to calculate SI we need this values, right? So when you just give P into R into T, the whatever value you give in that method call as input will be directly passed here, and this value will be taken here. When the compiler executes this line, automatically these values will be substituted here, and it starts calculating the SI. Then when amount is there, again this value will be substituted here, and it will calculate the amount. Then system.out.println, after it is calculated the simple interest, we can display it with the SI variable and the amount variable. So this is the program for you to calculate the SI. And the main thing is, whenever it is using the function argument, means through the main function only we are going to get, and whenever you execute this function you are going to give the input only through the method call. Okay, you cannot just come out like how you do it in the scanner class and all. In 8th standard and all, you would have executed through the scanner class, but here you are going to give only through the method call. Okay, then program 3 is to write a program in Java to find the area and perimeter of a right angle triangle by using the function argument. Take perpendicular and base as inputs. So the third program is to find the area and perimeter of a right triangle, and the inputs we are going to take is perpendicular and base as inputs they have said. So the public class triangle is your class name. Then in the main function, see, two arguments they have given: perpendicular, for that they have taken the variable p, and for base they have taken the variable b. And again see here, through function argument, so in the main function they have given the argument, so the input is going to be taken from this main function argument, int p and int b. So double D AR, this is your area and perimeter. Okay, and this is your area and your perimeter. So D is equal to math dot square root P into P plus B into B. Okay, this is your formula for calculating this D value. So square root, we cannot give in any way the square root. So we have a function called math dot square root. Okay, when you give this, instead of you cannot calculate in any way, only through this function you can calculate the square root. So math dot square root of P into P and B into B means this will be calculated, and first this will be calculated and square root of this value will be calculated and stored in the D variable. Then to calculate the area, 1 by 2 P into B. So this formula, area formula is given, and this will be calculated and stored in your area. And perimeter, P plus B plus D. This P and B will automatically be taken from here. We doesn't need to declare it anywhere, because we have declared it in the main function argument, and whenever you enter the value in the method call, that value will be automatically passed here, and this value will be substituted here while the execution. Okay, so system.out.println, the area, if you give this variable, you will get the area and perimeter here. Okay, in your book you have another program. Wait, I will explain you that also. So your program 4 is, you can keep and check it with your book. Okay, program 4, what they have asked you in program 4, what they have asked is to write a program to enter 3-digit number as input, and the output what you are going to display is, you are going to display each digit of that number. Okay, for example, see here, this is your 3-digit number, you are going to get it as a input. Okay, and this input you are going to get it in the main function. See, in the main function you will be having the input public static void main, in that int num. Okay, in this num only, whatever input you give will be saved in this num only. For example, I have taken this 327. Okay, this 327 will be stored in your num variable. In the method call, if you give this, it will automatically get saved in the main function, because using the function argument only we are going to take the input here. So int num is here, and in the num the input value will be automatically stored. So to display the each digit of the number. See, inside the main, how we are going to do it is, you are going to declare some variables h, d, t and u. Okay, and h is for your hundreds place. This hundreds place digit we are going to calculate and save it in your h variable. So to do that, what we are going to do is the number divided by 100. If you divide this 327 by 100, the value what you get is 3. So h will be having the number 3, which is in your hundreds place. Okay, then d is a temporary variable and d is equal to num divided by 10. Okay, num divided by 10 means 327 divided by 10. So you will be having the value 32 in your d. Okay, num divided by 10 means 32 will be in your d. This is to print the tens place number. Okay, so t is equal to d mod 10. D mod 10 means what is in the tens place? 2. So we need to display the 2 here. So in d you have 32 and d mod 10 means, mod means what? The remainder will be saved in this variable. So 32 mod 10, that is 32 divided by 10, you get 2 as your remainder. Okay, so 32 divided by 10, so 3s are 30 and 2 is what? Your remainder. 2 is your remainder, right? So t in tens place you will automatically get this second variable 2. Then u is your ones place. Okay, so the num 327 is there, no, num mod 10. So num mod 10 means what you will get? Again divided by 10, 327, 32 will be coming and 7 is the remainder. So in u, that is ones place, you will be getting the 7. Okay, this is the way they get the digits. Whenever you want the digits, you have to first, if how many digits are there, if 4 digits are there, 3, 2, 7 means if 4 digits are there means first thing is you have to divide it by 1000 so that you get the 1000 place number. Like that we have to calculate it to get the numbers. Okay, so this is your program 4. If you have any doubt in this, you can ping me and ask me at any time whatever is your doubt. Okay, and after watching this video, go through your book.